سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Amma ba'du, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another episode of, I was about to say Siratul Khatib Nabiyyin, but it's not, is it? No, Siratul Khatib Nabiyyin, you need to go to our YouTube channel to see that. This is actually the 3C Hanafi. Let's not forget, I haven't said that in a while, have I? 3C Hanafi. What does the 3C Hanafi stand for? Concise, comprehensive, and corroborated Hanafi fiqh. That's where the 3C Hanafi stands for. So we'd introduced the types of filth. We talked about the two broad actual filth and ritual filth, and we spent the last part B of types of filth. We talked about the actual filth and how it also split then into two, which was major actual filth and minor actual filth based on scriptural agreement. We're now in this part, which will probably just make up this part because we're on 4 minutes. We're going to talk about ritual filth. So that was actual filth, ritual filth. So ritual filth is a state an individual results in or becomes in due to the release of a major filth. Okay, and this is also divided into two types. So what do we have? We have major ritual filth. Now, major ritual filth, and obviously then we have a minor ritual filth. So what is a major ritual filth? This exists for the state that one requires legal bathing, and that's the word for ghusl. I've not just used the word ghusl because sometimes people translate to say bathing. Bathing is fine. A person can bathe in different ways. You know, we all bathe differently. But legal bathing is what the actual more correct translation would be, because ghusl has a set pattern. There's certain things which are compulsory within a ghusl. There's certain things which are sunan within ghusl. So therefore it clearly shows there's a methodology. There's a legal way of achieving it. This is either by water, which is obviously the normal practice, or by dry ablution if water is not being used due to a legal exception. Now we've introduced something else there. Up until now, especially in the earlier part when we talked about it, we've only talked about water as a purifier. I've now introduced something called dry ablution. Now, what is dry ablution? Now, for those of us who've got some understanding in Arabic and have studied fiqh a little bit will know this is referring to at-tayammum. Now, tayammum is the use of items which are non-organic, which can be used like a rock or a ground or a plastered wall or something like that, brick wall rather, which can then be, a person rubs their hand on the brick wall, removes the dust, because you're not here to make yourself dirty in the common sense of the word dirty, and then wiping the face and wiping the arms. There are legal exceptions for this, but I'm getting ahead of myself. When we actually reach to the chapter of tayammum, we will discuss it there. So that's major ritual filth. Then there's also the minor ritual filth. And the minor ritual filth is one exits from this state by carrying out ablution. And when I've used the word ablution, this is wudu. And again, when we get to wudu, what is wudu? How is it performed? With water or dry ablution, again, can be a means if water is not being used due to a legal exception. Now, there are legal exceptions. For example, the fact that there's no water. That's a pretty decent legal exception. There's no water at all. What are you supposed to do? Do you stop praying salah? No, you don't. There is a methodology called at-tayammum which can be used. And it can also be where a person can't use water for whatever reason. Then there is an exception for them. So we have these two possibilities available. So that rounds up our introduction to the types of filth. We talked about the actual filth, which split into two, which was major and minor. We've just introduced ritual filth, which also splits into two, which is major, which is ghusl, called legal bathing, and minor, or one requires ghusl in order to get out of this major ritual filth state. and a person who is in a minor ritual filth state requires wudu. In both cases, due to legal exceptions, which we'll get to in due course, inshallah ta'ala, a person can perform dry ablution. So we'll stop there. We will next carry out, if you remember way back when we discussed actual filth, we said major actual filth was that in which there was agreement between the ulama because of the fact there were no contradictory proofs. These are going to be referred to as major actual filth as determined unanimously, and we're going to focus our attention on there. So I hope you can join me again as we hear the buzzer going off in the corner. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيم والفساد